What's up, guys? It's your Super Playaz back at it again with another market watch, and I know it's been a while since we saw one, but I've been in vacation mode. I just finally came back to my place and I have all my equipment, and not only that, we were doing so many unboxings that we didn't get a chance to even show you guys all like what the prices were going and what they were fluctuating to. And this time, just like in the title it says, SCRs are cheap again. So I'm gonna talk about these new SCRs that we've been seeing that were holding up a very high price, now have plummeted, and it's a really good time to buy. And especially with the new support that's coming out with certain decks next set, is going to make these cards very strong that I'm going to mention or worth buying. So let's get into it. Like, if you're new to the channel, definitely smash that like button, comment down below, and be subscribed for more awesome market watches. They're still going to be on Mondays. It's just that today we did the battle and stuff like that. We were doing a bunch of cool stuff when I was back in LA. And so let's get into it. And also, the giveaway winner for the expansion boxes will be mentioned on Friday with my awesome Gohan deck profile that I've been winning a lot of tournaments with that have been really, really successful. So stay tuned for that as well. So then we're going on to the first card we're going to mention is Shenron Corrupted by Darkness. This card was sitting at like 180. There we go. See, it was sitting at 180 not too long ago. And it's plummeted to 130 being the cheapest. And like I said, if you guys want to wait maybe a little bit longer, I would. But this is probably the cheapest it's probably going to get. But also, just because they haven't announced the ban list, I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these cards go down in price, because we don't know what Bandai is going to hit. And so some of these cards are maintaining a low value until maybe after the ban list actually hits. And then we're going to see a crazy spike maybe. So that's in a few weeks, so stay tuned and hold and put your seatbelt on, because I think it's gonna be a bumpy ride when it comes down to the ban list. So 130 is the cheapest for this Shenron Corrupted by Darkness. And then we have SS3 Gohanks Interdimensional Warrior, another great staple. This card was actually $200. It was at 185. Its median is 185, but it was actually almost 200 bucks, and it's a very strong card in the King Gogeta deck. Highly recommend getting it. It's still a very strong staple in general for any red leader, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just so strong. I think it's a very good leader. I recommend getting it. It's insane. It's a very strong card. And so there you guys have it, at 159 being the cheapest and 234 still being one of the most expensive SCRs from the set. And this is the one I think you guys should be picking up. Robelu Nemigra's Secretary. I cannot pronounce this card, but I would definitely buy this card just because it's so cheap. $104 is relatively cheap for an SCR. I think it might go down a little bit more, but I think this might be the cheapest you'll get it. So it's 125. It starts slowly creeping up, but yeah, it was 127 not too long ago, but it's $104. This is a great card. Like I said, they might go up in price due to the ban list coming out in a few weeks, so I definitely would pick some of these SCRs up because they're relatively cheap, or just wait maybe because the new SCRs are going to be announced in this week, I think this Friday. So stay tuned for that from Dragon Ball Super Card Game. I think they're going to announce the new SCRs, so I definitely would stay. Like, that's why I see some of these cards going down in price and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk about some promo cards that have been dominating the meta. And right now, there's a huge speculation that they're going to hit the Vegex deck in some way. And then we have SS3 Gogeta thwarting the Dark Empire. So this is a great card. If you guys don't know what this guy does, he's an Overrealm for 1 black energy or a Union Fusion. And you can choose the battle cards in your warp and put them back in your drop area. And not only that, when this card attacks, you can warp one of your opponent's cards, which is so strong. A 1-drop remover. Very awesome. Very strong. And like I said, another great card. $92. So I don't know, it might go down in price if they hit what I'm speculating in the ban list. It might go down, so I would say hold off on buying some of these promo cards, because 2 weeks from now we will find out if it's going to be relatively viable. I still think this card might be viable because you have other black leaders that are very strong still, but it's definitely going to take a toll, or it's a lot of the #1 black deck that I think might get hit. And so both of them actually. And then we go on to the next one. So you guys are wondering what are the best champion cards to pull right now. Is Zamasu the Eliminator. Very strong card. Like I said, another card that's $70. Another reason to play Mecha Frieza. This card works so well. It hits battle cards and Unison. So if you're playing a 4-drop Unison, you play this, your opponent cannot play it, it will be bounced back to their hand, I believe. So it says, yeah, it goes back to the owner's hand. So it's a very strong card. People are realizing how like effective it really is to bounce back a Unison. There's nothing that bounces back Unisons besides this guy right now, as of now. A very strong card. So sitting at $70. So if you have them, sell them if you want to sell them. But it's pretty awesome. And then we have Chill the Assailant. This is the 2-drop red Goku is what I call it, but for green it ignores barrier, KOs an opponent's battle card, another great remover. And then activate main. If you play him, you choose up to 2 of your chilled army tokens and they get 5,000 power for the turn. So it's very strong, deflect oriented, and you could KO something ignoring barrier. So that's another great remover. I think this is a pretty cheap card. I would pick it up because green sometimes does suffer KOing things without barrier. So I would recommend getting this guy. This guy is such a great card. 2 green energy and you blow up something ignoring barrier. And then we got to the next one that is one of my favorite cards in my opinion. It works really well in Gohan. It works well in Bojack. One of the best cards in the game, I think, is Majin Buu, Assault of the Agents of Destruction. This card's sitting at 961. I think this might go up in price, guys. I think this is relatively cheap for what it's worth right now, but give it another week or two once they start announcing all the awesome stuff from set 14. I think this might go up because this guy is one of the strongest Unisons in the game, in my opinion. For blue, at least, it just bottom decks something, draw a card, restand him as a blocker, and he's a blocker. This guy's insane. You could survive 2 attacks with this guy, which is pretty phenomenal in my opinion. Very strong, sitting at 961, and then it increases to $10 pretty much. After that, after the first page, it'll be like $10 or more. So there we go. And then we're talking about the new Hirudegarn support that's coming out. Hirudegarn Phantasmic Evolution. So these are from the draft box, the most recent draft box, and I wanted to touch base about on these just because we've noticed that new set 14 is going to be coming out with Hirudegarn support, and I wanted to see if this stuff went up in price. And little did I know, it actually did. It went from being $6 to $16. So it nearly doubled it because the support that's coming out is phenomenal, and there was a buyout. Hirudegarn support is getting bought out, and I think it's going to be relatively strong in my opinion. I know there's the tournament pack one that might be blue. We could actually probably look at it, see if we could find it, but it's going up, guys. If they come out with some pretty gnarly stuff for the SRs or SPRs or whatever, this might actually go up in price. So a lot of these guys are starting to go up in price. You see the buyout with Hirudegarn, and it went from being $6, I should have bought them, to $20. So it's nearly tripled the price. So Hirudegarn is probably going to make a comeback in the next set. It's still one of the best leaders, or maybe that's the rebooted leader. I don't know. And then we have Son Gohan Hidden Might, another great draft box card, a very strong card that works with green leaders. Another barrier removal. People are realizing that, oh, paying 2 energy and then KOing something when I'm at 3 lives or less, and I bring out a unique double striker, Deflect. Why not? This is great. I think it's a phenomenal card. Another card that went up in price. It was actually sitting at, I think, $8 or $4 when I bought it, and now it's $20. So it's insane. It's insane. It's a very strong card. And then we go on to Cross Spirits, the cards I want to talk about, because this is what's been mentioned by Dragon Ball Super Card Game. They're still mentioning more stuff. They made silver bullets. They made great synergetic cards for a lot of these decks that are pretty much in the previous set, and right now everything's out of stock. But if you want to buy a box as of now, or like do a pre-order, because they come out August 13th from what I read, it's $120, and the premium pack is $29.99. So usually what I tell people is pre-order them way before they hit this price if you could get them cheaper, and then if you want, I would wait maybe 2-3 weeks after the set drops so you can get them relatively reasonable prices, because right now when the set drops it becomes very expensive, and you're sitting there with spending a lot of money on these cards, which is pretty sucky in my opinion. I don't want that to happen to you guys. But there you guys have it. Definitely smash that like button, comment down below if I missed any specific cards, but as of now this is what I noticed that went up in price, and SCRs are relatively cheap, so I definitely give it 2 big thumbs up in this Mark Watch to go get those SCRs if you don't have them. If you're a collector like me, I definitely want to pick them up, dropping a little bit of money, not like that, like the other SCRs, but definitely recommend. So there you guys have it from your host Tony G. Like always, y'all stay super.